What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news, some more news concerning Floyd Mayweather, Top Rank, the glovegate scandal, and comparison between certain incidents, okay? I did a video a couple weeks ago, and I've got like a surge of comments that I have to set the record in Counterpunch because a lot of people are confusing what I said with what Floyd mentioned with his situation with Maidana versus Tyson Fury's situation, Luis Resto, and Antonio Margarito. Okay, now we're gonna break that down again. Okay, but and I have to counterpunch some things as we go. But first, just so everyone will know, on this video, I'm going to send the link. I'm going to let you guys listen to Floyd and his problem with Maidana's gloves. Okay, so we can get a base. Okay, so we can hear exactly what the problem was with Floyd and Marcos. All right, and here we go.
You know, I respect you. All I want to do is just do good business. That's all I want to do. Those were the other ones. If a motherfucker can beat me, you got to earn it the hard way. No motherfucker need to be cutting no corners trying to cheat, because I ain't never tried to cheat to beat nobody. I ain't said that. I ain't said that. And I'm not pointing no finger, but I know you're the trainer. So, as the CEO of my company, and as one of my close friends, if it's something that's not right, you're doing your job to address it. Because once again, this is Mayweather Promotions. Yeah. So, I want to treat him fair, though. I want to treat him fair, because we are the A side. You know what I'm saying? We want to treat him fair, though. And I believe everybody should be treated fair. But one thing we're not going to do, we're not going to put no slick bullshit. Yeah. That's what we're not going to do. And we're not going to put no bullshit on them.
Right, of course. We're just not fighting in them gloves. The gloves, I told them, have no padding in it. See? There's no padding.
I can tell you right now.
It's a regular area.
I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now. Fuck no.
Yeah, no, I told him.
I done fought. Look, you can feel my knuckle right here. I done fought $1,000. Ain't no fucking padding in the fucking glove. Look at this. You can tell. Look at this. You can tell. This motherfucker already like broken in. Come on, man. It's funny.
Okay, now did you guys just hear? Floyd said there's no padding in the gloves, and they look like they've been already broken in. Okay, let me continue. Broken in. That's the key word.
Look at this shit.
Brand. They're not the same brand.
But listen, we don't care about the brand.
Not the same brand. That was the counterpunch from Roberto Garcia. Okay, he said it's not the same brand. Ellerby, of course, said, hey, it's not about the brand. Okay, he's not concerned with the brand, which is a factor. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going.
But it just has no padding. Can we open the app? Of course.
Who gloves these? Where did this come from?
That's for tonight's fight. Those are from tonight's fight. Same type, just to compare them.
No, we're not gonna compare them because we're not fighting in them.
Ain't that there?
It'll be different, the same.
The same. Different color. No, they're not the same. No, that's the regulation one.
But I'm saying, who these come from? Come over these. Come on. Y'all gonna fight the same damn blood. Ain't nobody fighting nothing different.
Excuse me, guys.
What you say?
Wait, just wait.
So I couldn't tell you. I worry more about hand injuries. So
Put him in the same shit as me. He fighting the same shit as me.
Why don't you wear this ones too?
No. Listen. We're gonna be on an even playing field. You gonna put him in the same shit as me?
Why you wear this one?
No.
We're in the same one.
It don't work like that.
I ain't wearing anything else, but
Guess what, Rob?
we've always. All my fighters wear them. You fight against Cotto with them.
Listen, you can tell me what he fought against. I tried on the gloves myself.
The man just said he make gloves.
We have our guys. We have the other guys too. brand.
Yeah, they're just different brands.
Yeah, it's different.
The issue is,
That motherfucker don't got no pads.
it's not the weight, it's the redistribution. There's no padding. There's no padding in the knuckles. There's no padding in the knuckles. That's all we say.
I'm proud of those.
Yeah. Listen.
Here's what we're gonna do.
I need the fighter and his representative. Everybody else.
Now, if you guys see what the problem was, okay, the problem was Floyd, being the A side, told Roberto Garcia and Marcos Maidana. Roberto Garcia, Marcos Maidana doesn't speak English. He told him, as the representative of Marcos Maidana, that they're not wearing those gloves. You're not wearing those gloves that have been broken in, that have no padding in the gloves, okay, and is redistributed or whatever. You know, they were horsehair gloves that Marcos wanted to wear. That's the kind of gloves that he always wears. On top of that, that's the same type of glove that Roberto Garcia's fighters wear, okay? Now listen. You could compare that to Tyson Fury. He had horsehair gloves, same type of gloves. Luis Resto, I'm not sure about the horsehair. I do know in Luis Resto, okay, in his situation, Resto and Panama Lewis took their shit out. They took padding out of the glove. They didn't take padding out of these gloves. They took these gloves out of plastic. And then what happened, the gloves that Marcos wanted to wear, they took some more of the same gloves out, and they offered Floyd to wear those same gloves. Floyd was like, hell no, put them in the gloves that I'm wearing. That's where that problem comes in. That's where the confusion happened. Okay? One trainer that wears this type of gloves, Floyd didn't say that in the contract. He didn't say, oh yeah, by the way, you got to wear the type of gloves that I wear. Okay? He didn't say that in the contract. Okay? And for that reason, this started all this confusion, because that was where the argument lay. Because if you guys know, if you've seen a contract, I mean the real contract, the stipulations, they're very tedious on detail, on what they can and cannot do. Okay? Now, I'm going to let you listen to the back and forth between Floyd and Roberto Garcia. Roberto Garcia starting first to give you guys a good idea of what happened after this particular confrontation between these two cats. Okay?
I walked away. There was nothing on the contract where it said that we had to wear what Mayweather wanted us to wear. $1.5 million is what Mayweather gave up, so Maidana wouldn't wear his
And the gloves that he wore were very similar anyway.
And then, Power Act, still good.
Very similar.
Still good gloves. But yeah, he paid $1.5 million so Maidana couldn't wear the glove.
He said, well, Ken, I wear my gloves. This is boxing. This is not called bare knuckle brawl. This is not bare knuckle brawl. The last Mexican fighter we seen, you seen when he wore his gloves, you seen what he tried to do. And then we seen another top ranked fighter. He was a top ranked fighter.
Talking about Margarito?
Yeah, Margarito. Then we seen another top ranked fighter who fought a kid back in the day, to where he died when Panama Lewis was in his corner.
Talking about Luis Resto?
Yes, another top ranked fighter. Once again, so I mean, these type of things happen in boxing.
Now, what Floyd did was, if you notice what Floyd did, Floyd compared his situation with Maidana to Margarito's situation with Sugar Shane Mosley and Nassim Richardson, with Luis Resto and Panama Lewis's situation with Billy Collins's trainer, and what happened in those. Look, two of those are set apart from Maidana, and let me explain why. First off, Billy Collins was cheated, no doubt about it, 100%. I'm not making excuses for Luis Resto. The man is righteous trash for what he did. He is. That was very, very wrong. But Billy Collins didn't die as a result of those punches. Okay, now it could be an indirect thing, but he didn't die in the ring, people. He walked out of that ring. Okay, he walked out of that ring He had some broken bones. He did because of the cheating from Luis Resto and the assistant Panama Lewis. He did. But Billy Collins, people, died in a car accident. Okay? He was in the car with his friend. I can read it to you. Want me to read it to you? Here you go. Okay. Look, March 6, 1984, Collins was killed when the car in which he and his best friend were driving in crashed into a culvert near his home in Antioch, Tennessee, a suburb of Nashville. The autopsy showed that he died a short time later at the scene of the accident. Okay. Now, of course, the commentator said that, he kind of gave up, emotionally and physically because he was cheated or whatever, but at the end of the day, Luis Resto wasn't the direct reason he killed or Collins was killed. A car accident killed him, not the gloves. Okay. Now, you can reach and say, hey, yeah, this happened. And it's a good argument, but Collins didn't die as a result of that. He was cheated badly. Right? Now, I know that does show emotional scars and residual things because he was cheated and how he felt. But to say, hey, he died because he was brokenhearted and he had a car accident, well, you can't really vote. You can't say what Floyd was saying. Floyd was saying, and the way he explained it was, hey, Billy Collins died because of Luis Resto cheating. He didn't. Okay, so we can't say that. All right, and then another thing, I see what Floyd pulled some slick bullshit and linked Top Rank, okay, and Top Rank fighters, okay, and this is what he did, and I'm going to prove this to you. Luis Resto and Antonio Margarito are Top Rank fighters. They both were, right? Now, what Floyd tried to do, he added his situation with Maidana in there, which he shouldn't have done, okay? And I'm going to counterpunch this. Again, people, you can't call someone a cheater and then turn around and pay them $1.5 million to keep a fight. You're not going to pay $1.5 million to a cheater. It ain't going to happen. If Marcos Maidana and Robert Garcia was in the wrong, people, if they were in the wrong, they would not have paid them 1.5. It was an error in the contract or when they were filing the damn thing. When they were putting all the particular details in there, they didn't put in, oh yeah, by the way, Floyd being the A side wants you to wear these type of gloves that he's wearing, not the gloves that you're accustomed to wearing. That's what it was. Now, other people like the LDBC and these channels, they tried to add and tried to say Floyd said this about Tyson Fury. Let me counterpunch their ass. Once again, Floyd didn't mention anything about Tyson Fury in this video, did he? No. Him and Tyson Fury are pretty cordial. That has nothing to do with Tyson Fury. Floyd mentioned and compared Maidana, Margarito, Resto together because they were top ranked. Why did he do that? Because Floyd has an ongoing beef with Bob Arum because he was once a Bob Arum fighter. Do you see the connection? You have to, and I tell people that listen to this channel, you have to understand why a person is saying what he's saying. Okay, because there's a bias there, there's some type of animosity there, and some type of backstory in deep-rooted bad blood, like Floyd has with Bob Arum. Okay, now what Maidana and Roberto Garcia did, would you call it slick bullshit? You could say that. I would call it clever. You know what I mean? But then again, it's like it's doing what you know to do. It's being strategic. It's like saying something, it's like a smell and stench, right? Well, what's that smell versus what's that stench? If you hear stench, you hear something that stinks. If you hear smell, that could smell good. Okay? So that's how I would compare those. But Floyd, he's doing that because he does not like Bob Arum. He does not have a good relationship with Bob Arum. And I believe personally that's what took the Pacquiao fight so long to get made, because of Bob Arum. Okay? But for all these people are saying, hey, Floyd said this about Tyson Fury with this glovegate situation. That has nothing to do with that. He never said that. And people should learn to stop saying and putting words in other people's mouths. And I've heard and seen and witnessed a lot of that lately. over on that side of the street. So to set the record straight, guys, with Roberto Garcia and Marcos Maidana, Floyd Mayweather and his coach, those guys came to an agreement to fight when Floyd paid him $1.5 million for not using the gloves that he said that he didn't have to wear. Okay? So he didn't have to wear those, he couldn't wear the gloves that he normally wears, so therefore he had to pay him for it. Okay? So that wasn't like some kind of power move. It was it was because Floyd wanted to get paid, because he was getting a whole lot more than Marcos Maidana that night. Sure, it was making Marcos a rich man, but not like Floyd that night. Floyd was going to get millions, 30, 32, right? So yeah, that's why that fight happened. But that fight wouldn't have went down, and Floyd wouldn't have had to pay Marcos Maidana anything if something was awry, if something was foul, or some quote-unquote slick bullshit. But anyway, that's me counterpunching this topic once again in detail. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.